guys, so today we're going to talk about vertex form and standard form, kind of what the difference is, what the benefits are. We're also going to practice today how to go from vertex form into standard form, and then the next couple of days we'll go the other way, so from standard form to vertex form. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just review with you really quickly what standard form was. If you remember, standard form was ax squared plus bx plus c, right? And this was when you were able to find the numbers that multiplied gave you c, but that also gave you b, right? You're able to factor pretty easy from this, okay? After you guys come back from spring break, you're actually also going to use this form to do the quadratic formula, okay? Which is so fun. I got a song for you and everything. Vertex form, though, is actually really beneficial when you are graphing. It's also really beneficial when you're in Algebra 2, pre-calculus, and calculus, when you're talking about what are called transformations. So I don't know if you guys remember when we talked about the U-shapes that went up. Sometimes the U-shapes went down. Sometimes they were skinnier, they were wider. Sometimes they moved to the left. Maybe it moved up, it moved down, that sort of thing. And so that's what vertex form is kind of used for, okay? But let me show you what vertex form looks like. So first of all, standard form has this A in front, and vertex form does as well, okay? So there's an A, and then in vertex form, there's actually parentheses, and it's something squared. And then sometimes there's a number on the outside. So I don't know if you remember what this means, okay? I don't know if you remember what that was. I just want to show you really quickly, if we were to factor x squared minus 6x plus 9, right? Find the two numbers that give you 9, that also give you 6. That's going to be a 3 and a 3, so x minus 3, x minus 3. And then remember, there was a nice way to write that, right? And that was an x minus 3 squared, okay? So this shows up in vertex form. So it's kind of cool how that happens. But here's what vertex form does. Vertex form gives you the vertex of the parabola like that. Lickety-split, okay? So what you do, the vertex is actually at the point HK. Okay, so it's the opposite of whatever's in the parentheses and then not the opposite of what's on the outside. Okay, so we're going to practice a little bit right now, just going over how to write it in vertex form, and then we're going to practice how to go from vertex form into standard form so that you can kind of see that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just show you really quickly. This is quarantine, boredom at its finest. So this is what happens when your daughter has henna and you're kind of tired of doing the same things, and you're old and you have wrinkles. You can see like my little marks in there. But anyway, so if you're wondering what that was on my hand, that's all that it is, okay? All right, so let's go through and do a couple of vertex form problems, okay? So first of all, I went ahead and found in this one what the vertex was. So the vertex is at the point -1, -9. And I want to find vertex form, okay? So remember, vertex form is right here. It's A, in parentheses, it's x minus h squared, and then plus k, okay? So we're going to write y equals, I'm going to go ahead and put that A. We're going to talk about that A here in just a second. But I'm going to do x minus, and then I'm going to do my x value of my vertex. Okay, so I'm going to put -1 squared and then plus k, so plus -9. And then I'm just going to clean this up, okay? So I can clean up the parentheses and make it an x plus 1 squared. I could even clean this up over here and make it a -9. And then let's talk about that a value really quick, okay? So let me get a different color so you can see it. But here I am at this point right here. This is my vertex, okay? And if you take your vertex and you go over 1 and then up 1, if it hits this value or this point right here, then your A value is 1. Now I will tell you that all of these numbers 1, 2, and 3 and then 4 and 5 on the back, all of the A values are 1. There's only one that's different, and you'll kind of see how that works. I wanted to start simple with you and just do the ones where A is 1. As a matter of fact, when we go the other way, so from standard form into vertex form, we're going to do a lot of A is just equal to 1 to get us going, okay? All right, so let's go do the next one. Let's go find out what this vertex is and go write it in vertex form, okay? So here's my vertex. While I'm counting, I want you to be thinking about, is this a minimum value or a maximum value? See what you remember, okay? So that looks like it's at the point 7, -1. Again, I'm telling you for today that A is going to equal 1 on this one. So let's go do standard or vertex form again. So remember up at the top, okay, it's going to go x minus h squared and then plus k. Okay, so I'm going to do x minus 7 in parentheses squared. And then I'm going to do plus k, but since k is -1, I can put a -1. Okay, let's go do that again. Vertex down here. So it looks like I'm at 2. -9. And I'm hoping, by the way, that you said that that was a minimum value. Okay, so A is also equal to 1 again. By the way, if you noticed, for every x number, this goes over 1, that goes up 1, this goes over 1 and up 1. Okay, so our A value is 1. So let's do it again. So I'm going to do x minus h, which is 2, and then -9. So there's my vertex form. Okay, so let's go take a look at the back really quick. Let's go get some vertex form out of those and see what it is. So here it's already in vertex form. So what is the vertex going to look like on this one? Okay, so my vertex, remember you do the opposite of what's in the parentheses and not the opposite of what is out. So my vertex is at -5, -4. Okay, so let's go put that in there. So there it is at -5, -4. And then notice that my A is a positive 1, so this parabola should be opening upwards. Remember those Lego hands that we did for so long? And so for this one, because it's a positive 1, it's going to go over 1, up 1. And it's going to go right there. Now, I don't want to put any more points on there yet. I'm going to show you why when we get over here in just a second, okay? All right, let's go do this one. I need a vertex, so we're going to do the opposite of what's in the parentheses. So positive 1, not the opposite of outside of the parentheses, so another positive 1. This time, my A, check it out, it's a -1, right? So my little parabola shape, my Lego hand, is going to be going downwards. It's opening down, okay? So I'm going to go over 1, down 1. Okay, but again, I don't want to do anything else. I'm going to show you why when we get to factored form. Okay, all right, last one of this kind. Let's do it again. My vertex, I'm going to do the opposite of what's inside, so -4. Not the opposite of the outside, so -4, -8. My A value this time is 2, so I'm going to go over 1, up 2. Over 1, up 2. So I don't want to do anything yet. Again, I'm going to show you what that looks like in a second, okay? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go from vertex form into standard form. I'm going to show you what this looks like so that we can take care of factored form, okay? So first thing first, remember that we're trying to get, everything out of the parentheses, okay? So remember, order of operations, we're going to do parentheses first, then exponents, multiplying, dividing, and then adding and subtracting. Since I don't know what x is, I can't do x plus 1, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of my exponents next, okay, or first. So I'm going to do x plus 1 times x plus 1. Now, some of you might remember the pattern. For those of you that don't, just FOIL the whole thing out and make sure that you get the same thing, okay? But when you do this, and I'm going to do the pattern. You're going to get x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then I have this extra minus 9. Okay? So I'm going to change this to x squared plus 2x minus 8. And there we are in simplified standard form. Okay? Now let's go to factored form. So if I take my x squared plus 2x minus 8 and I look for my two numbers that are going to multiply to give me 8 that are going to give me 2, I'm going to end up with x plus 4 and x minus 2. So here comes everything all together, the method to the madness. I love it. Okay? If I were to solve this, this is going to give me a value of negative 4. This parenthesis is going to give me a value at 2, and those are called my zeros. Okay? So I have a 0 back here at negative 4. Look at that. There it is. And I have another 0 at positive 2. And look at that. There it is. All right, let's go do that again. Okay. So we have x minus 7 squared minus 1. So again, I'm going to go FOIL this out. I'm going to get x squared minus 14x plus 49, which is going to simplify to x squared minus 14x plus 48. Okay. And then if I were to put it into factored form, whoops, that should be a minus 14x. Sorry about that. Okay, so into factored form, let's see. Numbers that give me 48 are going to be, I 8 and 6, right? So I get x minus 8, x minus 6. When I set that equal to 0, my two zeros are going to be positive 8 and positive 6. And there they are. Okay, so right now at this time I want you to pause your video and I want you to go do the next one and see what you get. All right, so I want you to check to see if you ended up with the same thing. So when you FOILed this out and did the pattern, and then when you factored it, you get your two zeros. Nice. Let's go try a couple on the back. Well, I guess it's not a back page for you though, is it, huh? All right, so let's do it again. So I have x plus 5 squared minus 4. Okay, and then I want to put this in factored form. So I have two zeros at negative 7 and negative 3. And then check out how quickly I'm able to get those points and get that picture graphed. Nice. All right, so for this one, I went ahead and got this one started, but I just wanted to show you something because this one's a little bit on the different side. So you have to be careful with that negative. You're going to do that negative last, right? Or, well, not really last, but you're going to do the exponents first because then, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right? Exponents comes before multiplying. So this means negative 1 times. So I went ahead in parentheses and I multiplied this out. And now I'm going to take that negative 1 and go distribute it all in, okay? So negative x squared plus 2x minus 1 plus 1. These are going to go away. And this equation in standard form looks like that, okay? And then in factored form, if I'm going to factor, I can take a negative x out, which would leave me with x minus 2. This negative x equals 0 is going to give me x is 0. And this is going to give me x is 2. And you can see where my two zeros are over here. Okay? All right, so one more time. I went ahead and did the last one. You're going to FOIL this out, then multiply it by 2. So here it is, x squared plus 8x and 16, then multiply it by 2, and go ahead and simplify to get it into standard form, okay? Then we can put it into factored form and go factor it to get our two zeros. You are going to be practicing going from vertex form into standard form. That's what I want you to practice right now, okay? Let me know if you have any questions. Happy multiplying!